We headed to the reception hall, the excitement of the ceremony. But an unexpected problem happened. There was a seat for my husband, but not for me. I looked several times but couldn't find it. Then, Mary came over to me. "What's wrong?" "Oh, Mary, you came at just the right time. There's no seat for me somehow." Mary then said, half smiling, "Somehow? There's no way. There was never a seat for you in the first place." "Huh?" I couldn't believe my ears. "What do you mean?" My name is Sharon, a 34-year-old housewife. I've been married to Peter for 7 years. We've never had children, but last year I gave birth, finally. She's a very cute girl. Giving birth was hard, but my first daughter is just so precious. Peter also loves our daughter and comes home at a fixed time every day. Peter is cooperative with parenting, and it's a great help. "Sis, give this to my niece." "Oh, Noel, are you here again?" "But my niece, it's just too cute." Noel, my younger brother, who often visits our home, says, "There's a 5-year age gap between Noel and me. We have no other relatives since our parents are no longer with us. Our parents divorced when we were young. Our father had a bad drinking habit, and he would often become violent towards our mother. Our mother decided to divorce as she felt staying together would harm the kids. She took us in, but raising 2 children alone was hard, and she had 2 jobs to support us. Thanks to her, Noel and I are now able to make a living as adults. But our mother must have worked too much. She passed away from cancer about 5 years ago. Yet, I believe she was at ease knowing that both of her children were working as employees. I'm truly glad I was able to show myself to my mother in my wedding dress. We'd always lived while supporting each other. Our bonds as a family were very strong. My brother and I vowed to live our lives as happily as possible for our mother. Living day by day in this manner, I'm very happy now." "Oh, what a lovely apron, right? I do have good taste, don't I? Don't be so cheeky. Don't you have anything else to do on the weekend? Go on a date or something?" I teased my brother jokingly, but an unexpected answer came back. "Actually, the reason I came today is that I wanted to tell you something." "Huh? Report?" "Yeah, I have someone I'm considering marrying." "What?" I was surprised. I've never expected this from my brother. "It was totally unexpected. Can I come over next Saturday to introduce her to you and Peter?" "Of course you can. I'll check Peter's schedule too." "Yeah, thanks." After my brother left, I felt quite emotional. I always took care of my brother at home while our mother was working. So the feeling was closer to being a guardian rather than a sister. It's such a big event for me that my precious brother would come to tell me about his wedding. I can't wait for Saturday. And since my husband has the day off, we'll meet them together. On that day, I was restless, wondering when they would arrive. "Sharon, you've been so fidgety since a while ago. But Noel is bringing his fiancé over, right? It makes me nervous." "Don't worry, Sharon. I bet Noel isn't expecting his sister to be nervous." "Well, maybe, but..." As we were having that conversation, the doorbell rang. My brother and his fiancé arrived about 5 minutes later than planned. I could feel my heartbeat speed up. When I opened the door, there was a beautiful woman standing next to my brother. "Hey, sis. Welcome." "Why are you so nervous, sis?" "Who, me? I'm not nervous." As I was having this conversation with my brother, I locked eyes with the woman he had brought along. She politely introduced herself. "Nice to meet you. I'm Mary. I'm Sharon, Noel's sister." After a brief greeting, I led the 2 of them into the living room. My husband, who had been waiting in the living room, greeted the 2. "I'll make some tea." "Oh, we brought some sweets. Let's all have some." "Oh, thank you. I'll prepare the tea with them." Once I had finished preparing it for everyone, we sat down at the dining table and started talking. Mary was very beautiful and decent. Just like me, she seemed a bit nervous, looking around restlessly. "So, where did you 2 meet?" "Through work. Mary was working as a receptionist at a client's office that I was working with." My brother and Mary said this, looking slightly blushed. My husband said, "Not only managing negotiations, but also bringing a fiancé? Good work. Hey, Peter. That's one way to put it. My brother quickly interjected. I burst out laughing, and Mary was also laughing. Thanks to my husband, the slightly tense atmosphere immediately became more relaxed. By the way, Mary, how old are you? I turned 24 this year. Oh, I see. So she's 5 years younger than Noel, which means she's a full decade younger than me. So are you planning on continuing work after getting married? No. I'm going to quit. Oh, really? Many women these days prefer to continue working after marriage. That's unusual. I don't need to work that much. Noel works at a major company and my family is quite wealthy. Gradually, her true personality was showing, which was different from my first impression. Also, you're not working currently, are you? No, I quit after giving birth to my daughter, but I was in the company for about 15 years. What? 15 years? How old are you now? I'm 34. Wait, so are you by any chance a high school graduate? Suddenly, Mary's expression hardened. Well, yes I am. Oh, a high school graduate. She definitely sounded condescending. But then Noel quickly came to my defense. Sharon started working right after high school for me. We talked about it, right? We were poor, so Sharon gave up everything for me. Don't look down on her. I wasn't looking down on her, I was just surprised, because there's no one like that around me. Noel's defense had created an awkward atmosphere. I quickly tried to smooth things over by saying, "It must be unusual for you, Mary." Mary also added, "Yes, exactly. I didn't mean it in a bad way, I was just surprised." Noel seemed to accept this and replied, "Oh, okay, as long as that's the case." To change the subject, I asked, "Mary, what does your father do?" My dad is the editor-in-chief of a publishing company called XX. Mary proudly stated this. Wait, that publishing company? I noticed something, but I didn't want to bring it up and cause another weird reaction from Mary, so I decided not to mention it for now. Mary seems to take pride in the fact that her father earns a good income, and she brags about it. When talking about her father or her home, she looks really happy, even smug. I even thought that her nose had grown a few inches longer than when she first arrived at our house. Anyway, that's how the meeting to announce my brother's engagement ended. After seeing off Noel and Mary, I immediately slumped onto the sofa. Phew, I'm exhausted. You did well. I'll make some coffee. My husband said this as he comforted our daughter in his arms. Thank you. But I wonder if Noel's going to be okay. He said this as he moved our daughter to the crib. Huh? Because Mary seems difficult and she was mocking you. I hope they're okay. Well, Noel did quickly point that out, so maybe that part will be okay. Although I said that, I was also a little worried. Noel and Mary had grown up in very different environments, so their values must be quite different. No matter how successful Noel is, the different background could cause misunderstandings. But it's Noel's life, so he's the one who needs to make all the decisions. As his sister, all I can do is watch over him. After several months had passed, Noel and Mary came to visit our house. What brings you here all of a sudden? We wanted to give this to you today. What? What Noel handed over was an invitation to their wedding. Wow! You're finally holding the ceremony! We really want you to come. Of course, I'll be there. It's my dear brother's big day after all. As I was getting excited, Mary interjected. But you don't have any relatives to rely on, and you can't bring your baby to the wedding, can you? She could be worried, but from Mary's tone clearly implying, "Are you really coming?" Oh, don't worry about it. We'll leave her with my mother-in-law. When I said that, Mary seemed disappointed and murmured, "Is that so?" What's up, Mary? You seem down. Noel noticed. Mary suddenly changed her impression. Do I? I'm just tired. With a forced laugh. Yeah, it's been a rush trying to get everything done because our schedules didn't match. To ease their burden, I suggested, why don't you head home and rest? Thanks for the invitation. To be honest, I didn't want to spend more time with Mary, who clearly disliked me. But she's the woman Noel chose. So I refrained from voicing my objections about their marriage. When the day of the wedding arrived, my husband and I went to the venue. Noel looked so handsome walking with Mary. As I've always cared for him like a mother, I was moved to tears. "Mom, look at how grown Noel is," I murmured in my heart, knowing our mom in heaven must be watching. She must be watching the ceremony, emotionally charged from heaven. We headed to the reception with the excitement of the ceremony. But there, we encountered an unexpected problem. While there was a seat for my husband, there wasn't one for me. I searched several times, but I couldn't find it. So I had to tell the venue staff. However, even after they checked, they confirmed that there was no seat for me. Isn't it strange that the groom's sister's husband has a seat, but the groom's sister doesn't? My husband asked the staff. They showed us the seating chart that Mary and Noel had given them. Just then, Mary came over. "What's going on?" "Oh, Mary, good timing. There seems to be a mistake and I don't have a seat." Mary laughed and said, "A mistake? There's no way. We didn't prepare a seat for you from the start." What? I couldn't believe what I heard. "What do you mean?" When I asked this, Mary's expression turned evil. "When Noel is with you, he doesn't care about me, and he's spending all his money on his niece." "Can't be. Noel buys things for our daughter, but they aren't expensive, and occasionally." "That's not the point. Anyway, my happiness is diminished by you. Please leave." With that, Mary glared at me disdainfully. What a terrible woman she is. Is it possible for someone to act this horribly based on misunderstandings? I hate the fact that my dear brother is marrying a woman like this. Suddenly, a man rushed towards us, exclaiming, Hey, Mary, what are you doing?" "Huh? Dad, why are you so panicked?" It was Mary's father. He also had connections with me. "You didn't say something rude to this lady, did you?" "Huh? This lady? She's the annoying old hag interfering with my happy marriage." What? Apologize right now." What's with you, Dad?" I had enough of their arguing, so I turned to Mary's father and bluntly stated my intentions. "Editor-in-chief, I want to conclude my column with this week's issue. I deeply apologize. She was disrespectful. We'll do anything, please. Don't quit." Mary's father apologized profusely. Seeing this, Mary was left in shock. I was into beauty after successfully losing weight, and I've been writing about it on social media. Recently, I shared about post-maternity self-care that you can do at home. This made me popular. I make a decent income. I've been writing an article on a magazine which he works for as a chief editor. Thankfully, the magazine's sales had increased, thanks to me. And I had been continuously writing. I had no idea that Sharon's younger brother was my daughter's fiancé. "Oh, you didn't come to the family gathering, did you? You said there was no need for just a sister." I deeply apologize. If I had known it was you, Sharon." You don't realize that your words only emphasize your bad character, do you? Silenced by my words, Mary's father could only stand there, dumbstruck. Anyway, I'd like to formally discuss my column with your company later. Goodbye. Having said that, I left the venue. My husband also left with me, saying that if I wasn't attending, he wouldn't either. Suddenly, my brother Noel came rushing over. Wait! Why are you guys trying to leave?" I explained everything to him. "What? That can't be. When I was at home, I saw a seating chart with Mary, and your name's on it." "I see." So it seems like Mary had shown a fake seating chart to Noel. Realizing this, Noel, his face flushed, stormed into the reception hall. He called off the engagement, stating, "I can't marry a person who treats my sister so poorly." And Noel really wasn't scattering money for his niece. It was Mary who spent a lot. She would buy anything, therefore it seemed she was financially strained. On top of that, the wedding was quite extravagant, so handling the finances was a struggle. Being blamed for spending money on his niece wasn't a pleasant situation at all. After all, wasn't all of this Mary's fault? Noel explained to the attendees that it would be just a regular dinner, and then he left. Later, there were issues regarding the wedding costs, but I cooperated with Noel to resolve them. As Noel had proposed the breakup, he ended up in a disadvantageous situation. But originally, it was Mary's fault. Unconvinced, I decided to use my power a little. I told Mary's father that if he agreed to pay all costs, I would continue the contract. Mary's father agreed without hesitation, saying, "Understood." Mary seemed unconvinced, but her father snapped, "It's all because of you," and forcibly made her accept it. This way, Noel was able to break up with Mary without any loss or a negative mark against him. Meanwhile, I continued the contract as promised. However, I did report this incident to the publisher. After that, Mary's father was transferred to a different department and no longer as editor-in-chief. Mary was disowned by her father, saying, "It's all your fault," and was forced out of the house. She had no access to money, but still she couldn't shake off her previous spending habits. She's likely to ruin herself, but it's none of my business, and she brought this on herself. Even Noel said, "Next time, I'll find someone who values you as my sister." I told him, "Just find someone who doesn't treat people poorly." Noel laughed. True. Mary was just abnormal while he was comforting his niece. I'm glad that the problem was resolved safely. I hope Noel finds a good person next time. Wishing for Noel's happiness, I'll continue to work hard for my husband and daughter at home.